Hello, beautiful souls. This is Dr. Beata. Today, we are going to be talking about a relevant and important topic. And I do want to mention that this may be a trigger warning for some of you. We are going to be talking about war and trauma. So I want to put that up front. And I also want to preface this with that this is not political. These are my personal perspectives and my personal experiences. And right now, the Russia-Ukraine war is a very relevant topic. It has been going on for over a month now, and I wanted to one send some love and compassion to everyone affected by the war, and also help to bring some awareness about the trauma response and how it relates to parents and parenting all over the world. So, if you are a parent, a mom, a dad, no matter how old your children are, listen in. And I want to start just by asking a quick question. Have you ever had to give a speech or a presentation in school or in work and you did not want to do it? You were scared, and the day comes and you end up having a huge migraine, or you end up getting sick, or you have like diarrhea and you cannot go? Have you ever had that happen? That's a part of you communicating, right? A part of you does not want to do that thing, so it has a physical manifestation in your body. Now, the same thing, I'm not sure if you can see, but I have these horrible cold sores all over my mouth and my lips. And a couple days ago, when I was getting ready to make this video, a part of me was very scared to share this message, to step forward and to spread awareness about this. So these cold sores, there was a lot of stress induced otherwise as well, but these cold sores decided to pop up. So this will help connect things later on. So I just wanted to mention that first and to get you thinking about that. Now, I wanted to take a moment just to take a couple mindful breaths and send love and prayers to everyone affected by the Russia Ukraine war and conflict. So I invite you to close your eyes if you can and take a couple deep breaths, a mindful breath. And if you can imagine a light in the center of your heart, and that light grows and expands. So now it's covering your whole heart, and it keeps expanding. So now it's covering your whole body. It's expanding to your whole home, wherever you are, the building where you are. It's expanding to your city, your state, your country, and the whole world. Because those affected by the war are not just those in the war zone, not just those in the countries surrounding. It's also friends and family all over the world. And just radiating this love and compassion. And taking another breath. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you for doing that with me. For those of you watching the replay, it is just as powerful for you to go ahead and do this with us, even on the video replay. So thank you. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Dr. Beata, and I'm a holistic and integrative doctor of physical therapy, and I strongly believe in healing from a mind, body, and soul perspective. I am focusing on working with moms and their little ones, and this message I found so important that I want to really expand it to all parents of children, no matter how old they are. So I want you to take a moment to think of all these adults, parents, children that are involved in this conflict right now. No matter if they are in the war zone, if they are in surrounding cities and countries, if they are fleeing and they're refugees. I want you to imagine what their body is going through, what their mind is going through. And something that is happening is their sympathetic nervous system is getting activated. Now, what that means is that is the fight or flight stage. her state. It's also can be freeze or fawn, but we'll leave that for another video. We're going to focus on fight or flight for today. So when our body is in a fight or flight state, we fear for our survival. So it's pretty explanatory. We're either going to fight. So as you have seen in the news, there are civilians arming, there are soldiers, right, who are there to fight, and then there are those who are fleeing. When we are in that state, our main priority is survival. We're doing whatever we can to survive. And that is a completely normal and healthy and important response. So this is something that is ingrained in us from way back in cave times when there was a tiger. Again, in the jungle, we would have to make that decision as well. Are we going to fight it? Are we going to flee? Or the freeze is where we pretend to be dead and all that. So this response is an important response because it has helped humanity survive these various things for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is important, and there is a flip side, there's a parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is the rest and digest state. That is the healing stage. So ideally, our bodies will be in the sympathetic nervous system for short amounts of time, for short periods when there is a threat to our survival. And the rest of the time, our body is in this parasympathetic nervous system. So something that can happen is that experiencing a traumatic event. So these in particular that I'm going to be talking about now are big T traumas. So being in a war zone, in a war conflict, being a refugee, having been assaulted, having been in a natural disaster, having experienced various kinds of abuse, having experienced a sudden death of a loved one, witnessing an event. These are typically single traumatic events. And as a survivor of going through this, you may experience a certain trauma. You may experience a sympathetic nervous system response when you are outside of that event. And not everyone has this. Some people do. So you may experience an event and then you may have this huge response. You may be triggered by something like a loud noise. It may be something that looks familiar. It may be a sensation like a texture. There are many different kinds of triggers. It may be a word or a sound. Now, this, again, is normal to an extent because our body is surviving, right? That is the main focus. It can become abnormal when it happens so often that we are getting flashbacks and we are having huge responses that are not appropriate for where we are in the current state and situation. So does that make sense? If you experienced a traumatic event and let's say years later you hear a car backfire and all of a sudden you are brought back to this war zone or to gunshots being fired, your body now switches to a sympathetic nervous system state. Your heart starts racing, you may be sweaty, your anxiety may rocket, you may run and hide. This is more of an abnormal state to be in. And this is where mental health therapy is so important. So if this resonates with you, if you know anyone who has experienced this and who may be going through this right now, I want to let you know that there are great therapies that can help with this. There's something called EMDR, which has been having great results with this. So I encourage you to reach out for help and support. And even with these big T traumas, a multidisciplinary and holistic approach is still most beneficial. So that is a great place to start, and I encourage you to get more help and resources if you have experienced that. Now, there is something that is also called a little T trauma. And these little T traumas are much more challenging to discern, to recognize, to acknowledge because they are not these big singular events. They may happen over long periods of time. They may seem like daily occurrences. Now, these little t traumas can also be called developmental traumas, attachment traumas, and we'll go kind of deeper into differentiating those on later videos. So, these are typically not like life or death situations. They may be non threatening injuries, they may be abuse that was happening for a long time, they may be harassment, they may be something as simple as, I don't want to say simple, as seemingly insignificant as maybe you were a child and you were told to stop crying, to not be so sensitive, and to not cry. And what this brings up is that there are these different parts of us. So, just like at the beginning of this message, I mentioned that there may be a part of you that may be more sensitive. There may be a part of you that is more confident. There may be a part of you that is more scared. So, the example that I gave at the beginning of the video with my cold sores, there was a part of me that was really scared and fearful to move forward with this message, to say this confidently. And then there was a part of me that felt that this was so right. Now, these parts I like to think of as our inner dragons. So they are all good. All of our parts are good. And they are there to communicate something to us. Now, this part of me that felt scared to move forward and to spread this message was fearing survival, was fearing that it was not safe if I go ahead and talk about this topic. And this is something that is from my kind of group of traumas that I've experienced. So these traumas, these experiences that we have in our life play on these parts in different ways. And this is what I call these inner dragons. And the majority of us have these in some shape or form or fashion. And we have different coping skills for them. So for some of us, they may not affect us that much. And for others of us, they may affect us quite a bit. Now, as parents, this is where this is really important. Um, I want to explain how, as parents, how this may show up for us. This may show up for us that we snap back at our children. That maybe our children are having a tantrum and screaming and crying and yelling, and we yell back at them. And as I've said, this is all good. This is okay if you are experiencing this. And if you have done these things, I've done them. They may show up as, I'm going to preface this as moms because this is typically where it happens, where moms not prioritizing our needs and wants, not prioritizing ourselves as a person and putting everyone, our children and everyone, in front of ourselves. This may show up as a parent with anxiety or insomnia or other things that we'll talk about in a moment. So I want to quickly jump back to something that is much less known, that is not talked about often. And this is something called ancestral trauma and generational trauma. It can be called transgenerational, intergenerational trauma as well. Now, what this is that maybe our ancestors went through a war. And I think if you are a human living on this planet, at some point, one of your ancestors did experience war or conflict or a big T trauma or a little T trauma. I think this is something that humanity has been challenged with for all of its existence. There has been different conflicts for all of time. Now, what the study and research of epigenetics has shown is that when we experience a trauma, whether it's a big T trauma or a little T trauma, our DNA is changed. The expression and activation of our DNA is changed, it is altered. And we can pass that down to our children and our next generations. Now, this again is through no fault of anyone. So if you have experienced this, if this is resonating with you, there is no blaming or guilt or shame or judgment, anything of that around this. This is to bring awareness. And why am I telling you this, right? This is to empower you that there is a way to heal. We can heal ourselves. we can heal our children, and the super important piece, the piece that is so powerful, is that as we heal ourselves as parents, we are healing our children at the same time. So this is really here to empower you and to let you know that if this is resonating with you, if you've experienced these things, if you see yourself as a parent that may be yelling more than you want to, may not be prioritizing yourself, maybe you lost yourself once you became a mom or a dad. And again, it doesn't matter how old your children are. You may be recognizing this much later. This still applies to you. You can still help yourself heal no matter how old you are, and your children will heal as well from as an effect, as a result. So why is this so important, right? Because we talked about a little bit of that mind-body connection earlier. So when a part of us doesn't want to do something, and we may experience anxiety or cold sores or digestive issues, these may show up chronically in us. They may show up as chronic pain, chronic back pain, chronic neck pain, chronic shoulder pain. They may show up as chronic digestive issues, insomnia, allergies, food intolerances, food sensitivities. They may show up as autoimmune conditions. They may show up as fatigue. They may show up anxiety, I'm going to mention again. And when we start putting these pieces together, that this is a key piece to healing, we can do something about it. And as parents, my message is specifically to parents is we have so much power over this, in the sense that when we heal, we can directly impact our children. This is important for everyone, for everyone. And I want to make my message specifically to parents because those are the ones I've been connecting with most. However, if you're not a parent and this resonates with you, please feel free to send a DM and reach out as well. Now, I have been thinking about how I want to get this message across, how I want to help spread awareness of this. And I was meditating one day and this dragon jumped out at me, this turquoise dragon. And to me, that was a sign that these dragons within us, it is time to bring awareness to them. It is time to discover them. It's time to honor them because I want you to remember they are good. They are just communicating with us. So I am going to be hosting a Discover the Dragon Within workshop. And I am, with this workshop, as parents, we are going to start recognizing and discovering these dragons within us in a safe space, in a space where you can really start acknowledging them and honoring them, these dragons, and learning what they are communicating to us. What are they trying to tell us? And once we start getting that message, then we know what to do. And our soul is underlying all of this. Our soul is trying to communicate to us. And these dragons, these parts of us are trying to communicate. And it can be really muddy. It can be a really muddy picture. So I have some wonderful strategies and techniques that I want to share with you, that I want to walk you through. And I feel this is such a key piece of healing. So if you have done all the physical things, if you have done even some mental work and emotional work, this may be a key piece that may complete that picture for you. So I invite you, if this is something that speaks to you, post dragon in the comments. I will be dropping the link. The registration will be opening soon, but for now, I have a cheat sheet, which is 5 signs that you may have a dragon within. So if you'd like the cheat sheet, go ahead and drop dragon in the comments and I will put the link below. So with that, you'll get the cheat sheet and you'll get the notification when registration is open. I am having registration free for a limited time because I really want the people who this speaks to, who this resonates with, to go ahead and get in. Get in for free. There's no barriers at all. It's going to be short. It's going to be spread out over 2 days so you can jump in and out. There will be replays available. And it's not going to take up a lot of time. And it is extremely powerful when we work through this process. So for those of you who have been following me for quite some time, or for a little while, this is where the circle completes. The mindfulness pieces, the nutritional pieces, and now learning about and acknowledging and honoring these dragons and discovering them within us and learning how to work with them for the healing process to come together. So, again, feel free to reach out if you're interested in the workshop. I will be spreading more information. I'll be doing another video more specifically on these little T traumas, which are crucial as parents. And if you are a mom who this speaks with, who this resonates with, who is interested in a holistic approach to health and healing, the Mindful Moms Circle and community, I invite you to join us. It is a free community that is a safe space to start learning about some of these topics and to share your experiences and to support each other. So, thank you for spending this time with me. I hope this created a little bit of opening for you. Maybe you felt a little weight lift when you have become aware of this. I hope this may start bringing more awareness to the topic. So I look forward to spreading more information about this, talking about this more, because I feel this is a topic that does not get enough coverage, enough support. So as always, I wish you and your little ones all the best, and I will see you in the next videos.